Hi guys, welcome back. So today is a big day for the S4. We've got some bits to go in the engine. We're going to tune it up and see how much power we can actually squeeze out of it. Maybe we can even make this thing quicker than a supercar, who knows. So we're going to go back to mine now, get into it, and I'll show you what we've got to go and kind of what the plan is. So let's go. Oh yeah, and I nearly forgot to say, if you're new here, don't forget to tap down below and hit subscribe. Let's go. Right, so here's everything that we're going to be putting on today, and I'll start off down here and then I'll work my way around and then we'll get on with it. So the thing that probably makes the biggest difference is down to the map on it, and I've gone for a JACKAL Motorsport map, and the best thing about these, I thought, is you can go straight from stage 1, 2, 3, 2+, whatever it is, and you don't have to pay any additional to go through all of the stages. And basically it's the best value for money option, and I've heard really good stuff about this one. JACKAL tune for me was the only way to go, especially if we want to kind of see how far we can push it, and if we know we can push it more, then why would we want to pay for a tune each and every single time? Which to me makes so much more sense, especially if you're doing it yourself. You don't need to go backwards and forwards to somewhere, and it's just a lot easier and it's a lot more logical. And to me, it just seems like I've heard nothing but good things about the JACKAL tunes, and I've heard some mixed reviews on other companies out there. So a massive shout out to Matt at JACKAL. Right, so for the supercharged pulley, I've got an APR 187mm pulley. Reason I went for this, plain and simple, I found it for £120 and usually new they're about 400, so I thought I'd go with that straight away. And I've also got a matching supercharger pulley belt to go with it, so that should be okay with the stock supercharger pulley we've got on it now, because it's completely stock apart from the air filter and the exhaust. And I haven't actually got an up-on for it at the moment, so it's completely standard supercharger pulley with just the lower at the minute. And if we can get more power out of it, then we'll also do the up-on as well. We'll see how far we can push it. Good value for money, and it's also come with the bolts, and all we need to do for this is slide it on top of the original crank pulley on top of the car, and we should be able to see some pretty good results with it. Like I say, if we do want to push it more, we'll also do the upper supercharger pulley as well, but on this car you need a special tool to get it off. So one of the things I've heard makes the biggest difference if you're trying to push more power out of these is actually down to the charge cooler, and that's because it's supercharged and it's water cooled. So to keep all of that water cool, we need a larger supercharged cooler, and that's what I've got right here. Because they're supercharged and water cooled instead of turbocharged and air cooled, this is what keeps the intake temps down inside of the engine, which means you can push more out of it. So if we've got a larger charge cooler, it means that the water will be cooled quicker and we've got more water in there to keep the intake temps down, which means the car's going to run a lot healthier and avoid any sort of heat soak that might happen. So having an aftermarket one, regardless of where it's from or what it is going to be an improvement over the standard one, which is probably a third or half of the size. So this should be more than sufficient for what we want to do with it, and it's literally bolt on, so that's good enough for me. And it doesn't seem like I've got much here, because I haven't got much here, and this is sometimes all it really takes to kind of get some good power out of these cars. And like I say, with it being a manual, I don't want to push it too hard too soon, because I want to see if that clutch can hold up at stage 2, and if it does hold up at stage 2, that'll be great, but I don't know how it's going to hold up. So I thought for now we'll go for a small lower crank pulley supercharger, and then if we also want to do smaller supercharger, go for a dual pulley and it's holding up, we'll go for that. And I'd love to turn around and tell you that we're going to be building a 1200 horsepower Porsche 911 turbo, but we can't all do that unfortunately. So we're kind of trying to do this build on a bit of a budget. Maybe one day, who knows, we'll see how we got on. But so that's everything we're putting on for now. Let's get started fitting it. So then now we just need to start off by taking the front end off and put this car into service mode. We're going to start off by undoing the T30 bolts underneath that hold the bumper on, as well as undoing 3 temper bolts at each side so we can pull the bumper off. Now the front bumper's off, we're going to take some of the plastic trims off, as well as undo some of the coolant pipes and dropping the coolant out so we're ready to pull the slam panel forward. We're also going to take the old charge cooler off now so it's a bit easier, as well as undoing some 17mm bolts, and then we can pull it forward. Now they're out, we're going to put a pair of slightly longer bolts in the top to rest the slam panel on. Right, that's all pulled forward now. We've got the charge cooler off as well, so that wasn't too bad to do. It was only that bolt down there, gave it a wiggle and it came out. But now we need to move on and actually do the supercharger pulley itself. So we need to start by taking this belt off down here and probably undo the tension, and then we'll try and figure it out. Right, now I've got the belt off down here. There's a little post which we need to grind down, because when we put the new supercharger pulley on, it slides over the top of the old one, and I think it runs a little bit too close with the new belt on it to this post. So we'll get that ground down, and then we'll need to undo the spline bolts inside of here, and then we can just slide the pulley on. So let's get that ground down. Right, so I've ground away at the post now, and I've taken quite a bit off that corner, because I think what the issue is going to be is that when we put the new pulley on and it slides over this old one, it might kind of tap that as it bolts on. So I've ground it back quite a bit, extra bit for luck, and we'll see how we get on. Okay, so with that out of the way, what we need to do now is get these pipes off, unbolt them, get them out of the way, and then we can get to the tension down here to undo the belt, which means we can undo the bolts in the middle of the old pulley and fit the new one. Okay, so now let's try and undo the bolts on the crank pulley, and I'm going to put it in gear, so it should make it a bit easier. Right, so I've just noticed something that I never thought I'd see in a German car, but look at that. What does it say? France. We've been lied to this whole time. So to get them off, it's an M10 spline, and I've kind of put this in here with some tissue so it doesn't fall out, because I haven't got a proper tool for it. So I've wedged that in there, and that should be okay. So hopefully this will all come off okay. Right, so they're all off now, but one of these bolts is actually a millimetre offset compared to all the others, so I'll show you what I mean. So looking at this, one of these is a millimetre offset, and it's kind of hard to judge by, but I'm going to try and use a vernier, check the distance between here like that. That's 2.8, that's 2.7, roughly about the same. If we keep going, we'll find it. There we go, that's the one. 3.6. It's about a mil difference compared to the others, so we've confirmed it that is the right one we need to use to locate it. So we're also going to check the crank pulley, just do that one by eye as well. And what we'll do is quickly mark it where I think it is, and then we'll put the one bolt in here and kind of turn it around until that one bolt goes in. Right, so with that sorted, we need to put these washers and the new bolts in. Right, so unfortunately my camera did run out of battery, but what I've had to do in the end is I've had to take the crank pulley off, and I've done some measurements down here, and I've actually marked the crank pulley itself. So let me show you. I've marked it across here, I found the right hole, and I've put all of these through and they fit up okay. And then what I'm going to do with this yellow one here that I've marked, I'm going to put that through there, so when it comes to putting on the crank, I know which one is slightly offset. So when we put that bolt through, we can match it with that one and put them all on. Right, we've got that on now, and it went on a lot easier taking the whole crank pulley off and then literally just marking it up and doing it that way. So I've tightened them all down now, just nipped them up. All we need to do now is torque it down a bit. I think it's about 50 newton meters, somewhere around there. We'll torque them all up, but we might need to pull this forward a bit more just so we can get a torque wrench down there, because there's not quite enough room here. So what I might need to do is take these bolts off and just try and rest this whole thing on a pair of axle stands just while I'm torquing it down. Right, so I spoke too soon. I had a bit of a think, then I went for a bit of a dig around and managed to find two bolts slightly longer than one we got in it. So we're going to put these in, use it instead, and then that should hopefully just give us that extra bit of room we need. So let's get on with it. Right, that's just what we need, isn't it? So let's get them torqued up. Right, so they're all torqued up now. What we can do is we can put the belt back on, get that all tension back up, and then we can put the new supercharged belt on. So let's do it. Have a whiff of that quickly. You can smell it, it smells like power. Right, so I've got the belt on now and it all seems okay apart from down here, that little post that we ground on earlier. I might take a little bit more meat off that because I think it runs a little bit too close in my opinion. So from the bottom I'll show you what I mean. I think it's probably 1 or 2 mils what I can feel, so it's easy me showing you. So under here you can see that it's probably 2 or 3 mil off that belt there and it's running quite close to it. So just to be on the safe side, I'll take that belt off again and grind it down just that bit extra. Right, so I've ground that post all the way back now and I've put the belt back on and we've got at least 3 or 4 mil behind it. So in my opinion that's more than clear, that should be fine. So what we're going to do now is push all of this back into place, get it back together and then we can fit the charge cooler. Okay, so with all that back together now, we need to try and figure out how we're going to fit the front mount charge cooler. Right, so one thing we need to do first of all, which you might have also noticed earlier as well, is that these mounting tabs that are meant to slide in, they're quite a bit bent out of place. So what I'm going to try and do is bend those back into place and we can go from there. Unfortunately, sometimes when you get these Chinese parts, that's just how it is. So let's bend this back and we'll try and fit it up. So apart from this bit here, it all seemed to fit up okay. After trimming it down though, it seems fine, so that should hopefully be alright. So that fits up okay now, let's try and get the pipes on. Yeah, I think I might actually put some new clips on. I think these will be a bit better, don't you? So I was debating about cutting these off somewhere up here maybe, but I think for now I'm just going to whack a couple of cable ties around here and that should be fine. It's not going to wiggle about, so that'll be a lot easier. Right, so both the coolant pipes are attached now, it's all mounted up and so far it's looking really well and it's fitting pretty well too, to be fair. One last little bit before we put the bumper on though is a couple of M5 bolts through here, tighten them up, even though it's pretty secure already, just give it that extra little bit. Right, so with the bumper on now, that looks so good tucked behind there. So I'm going to do all the boring little bits, put all the plastic trims back on, all that stuff, and then we'll top the coolant up and we'll move on to mapping it. Right, so everything's back together now. We just need to top the coolant up, bleed that through, we can move on to mapping it. So we're going to start the car up, get it all bled through and get it to the right level. So we're all done under here, that seems okay for now, so let's move on to mapping it. Okay, so now it's time for the fun stuff. So what we need to do is plug this cable in, down under here on the OBD, and then all we need to do is flash it. So let's hope we don't run into any issues. Right, so this is plugged in now. The blue light means it's got a connection, it's got a signal to it. I've got my laptop here, that's the laptop cable. Running it over here, and I've got my login details to put in. I'm going to plug the USB into that one there, put it over here just so you can see what I'm doing, because the light's not very good. So I've got the USB plugged in now. I've loaded up the tuning suite, I think is what they call it. So that's like an app or like a program for your laptop. So you download that, then we need to put our login details in, which I'll do in a minute. But first I'm going to put a battery charger on just to be safe. Putting a battery charger on probably isn't essential, but I would recommend it personally, just in case you have like a battery go flat halfway through tuning your car. The last thing that you want to happen is for it to not start, and that could happen if the battery goes flat. So up here there's like a charge post. I'm going to put one of them on here as live, and then I'm going to put the other one on here. So let's get it on. If you do have that annoying Audi sound, what you can do is tap that thing if you left your door open and it will turn it off. So I'm going to put my login details in here and we'll get to it. Here we are then. So this looks really exciting. So we've got engine, transmission and Haldex. I don't need to worry about Haldex and probably not transmission because it's a manual. So I'm going to go into the engine now and let's see what's going to happen. Right, so I'm just going to put my email in, and then I think down here we'll select one. Okay, so what I've noticed as well is I think I've got to flash this back to stock for whatever reason. So I'm going to give that a go and we'll flash that back, and then all the tunes should come up. So bear with me a minute. So I've completed the first flash, which is kind of like a calibration sort of flash. So I've logged out of it and I've logged back into here. I've selected production 1, and now I've got all of these options here. So I'm going to go for stage 2, single pulley, because we just got the lower pulley, and 93 octane, because I think that's the closest one to what we have here. So I selected that now. I just need to wait for it to complete. So I'll see you in about a sec. Okay, so we're all done. I just need to follow these steps through. I think it's turning the ignition on and off a couple of times, and it's done. And I cannot wait to take this thing out. And we're done. Right, so that's all done, and I can't wait to take this car out. So I might not have time tonight to do it, but tomorrow, definitely, in the evening, if I get a chance, I'm taking it out. Right, I'm not doing it tomorrow, I'm doing it now. I've decided I can't wait to get this thing out. It can't wait any longer. It's been long enough, so let's go and take it out. Oh, green light. It's all plus from here, isn't it? Oh my God, this is ridiculous. Oh my God, this is like a different car now. This is literally like a different car. I can't wait to get this thing out. I literally just pulled out of the junction, and so far the clutch isn't slipping as well, which is good. So massive shout out to JACKAL as well. So far this is sick, and I'm not endorsed or paid or anything like that for it. To me, this was the most logical option, and I'm so glad that I've gone for it. So, oh my God, uphill as well. Like a different car now. You can feel this thing's been mapped now. Get on. Oh my God. Of course, I'm staying within the parameters of the law here, so this is why we need to take a special trip to either a private road or Mexico. So I'll see you in Mexico then. Welcome to Mexico, the lovely Mexican countryside, which means we can test it properly now. I think the best thing that we can do right now, just to witness how quick it is do a pull, and then we'll try and do a proper 0-60 in it to see how quick it actually pulls. And I'm not sure if the clutch is going to slip at all, like I say, because apparently it can, so we'll have to see how we get on. Here's an example of how quick it is. I'm doing about 20 now, second gear, and already we're near enough at 60. Second gear, near enough at 60. I reckon this car is running at least 400 to 450 brake, maybe a bit more, I'm not too sure. Like, we'll probably have to get it on a dyno at some point to properly figure out how quick this car actually is. Because it's all very good me making random guesses, but without any figures in front of us, they don't mean anything. So it might not even be that quick because I'm driving it, I don't know. But I think that will give us a better idea of how quick this car is. So what do you think? Should we do a 0 to 60 time in it? Because I do. It was going, and then we got to about 4 and it started to slip, didn't it?
Yeah.
So after launching it then, it does seem like the clutch is starting to slip a little bit, but I think on a day-to-day drive it seems okay. That's like the first time I've tried launching it, and it was alright to about 45, and then it just started slipping. So to properly launch it, we probably will need a better clutch, but I think for day-to-day driving, normal driving, it should be okay. And hopefully on a rolling road it should still hold up okay, because it's not under as much stress. So yeah, the clutch isn't going to hold up if we're launching it, but to be honest, day-to-day driving, we're not going to launch it every day. We've had enough fun in Mexico for today though, so let's head back to the UK. And just like that, we're back to the UK. So it's quite easy to say, yeah, this thing is absolutely rapid, but the only way we're really going to know is getting this thing on a dyno, which is something I've been thinking about doing at a later date. So I think we will get around to that, and in my guess it's somewhere between 450 and 500 brake. And if it is, then technically it's quicker than a supercar. So this is just in my opinion, it's a ballpark figure. I could be miles off. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? So after all of that, one thing I can say with absolute certainty, JACKAL tune is really, really good. So Matt, thank you. That's a brilliant map you've got yourself there. And to anyone else who's got an S4, I would recommend one, because looking at the other options out there, it's the most cost-effective way, and it's a really quick car now. So it could be something you should look into compared to competitors out there. That's just my opinion. Of course, do your own research and make your own choice on it. But to me, this is the way to go. So next time, I have got another exhaust to put on this, and I think that should be an improvement. I know we've already done part of it, but this should be better anyway. So in the next couple of videos, I've got a few other bits to go on it, and I'm also going to be doing bits to supercharge it, and maybe that will see some gains as well. And of course, we're going to do that stuff before we get on a rolling road, but you'll have to stay tuned and see what we're doing. So if you do want to see that, tap down below and make sure you subscribe. So thanks for watching, and of course, I'll catch you next video. See you in a bit.